every one of you listening to my voice, tell the world, tell this to everybody wherever they are. Watch the skies everywhere. Keep looking. Keep watching the skies.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Wednesday show, UFO MAXX, here on Spaced Out Radio. I'm your host, Grantavious Maxx. This is Lee Strauss. We are here in the mighty Pacific Northwest, one of the top UFO sighting spots in the United States. Each week, we bring you a variety of fascinating subjects to explore. So come spend a moment with us, and it's going to be fun. It's an ever-changing and evolving world of ufology and outright strange and bizarre. Don't forget to catch Dave Scott after this show every Monday through Friday. Starts at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, Rob G on the weekends on the After Hour Show, and Lee on Element 115 on Friday.
That's right. Friday night, same time, 8 o'clock to 9.
Heck yeah. And if you've missed any of those shows, please know that our archives are always open and always free. So you can binge watch the heck out of us when we're down, or when you're bored, just head on out there. Visit our website at spacedoutradio.com. You'll get all your swag, and we don't have ugly swag.
Nope.
We
absolutely don't. Not. Look right here. Representing today.
Heck yeah.
For sure.
We ask that you like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell. And I mean, it honestly helps all of us here at Spaced Out Radio get to more viewers such as yourself. If you could do us a huge favor and share the show with a friend, we'd be incredibly grateful, because obviously it helps Spaced Out Radio grow as a whole. And speaking of sport, if you'd like to help keep the lights on here for all of our shows, please know that Super Chat is always open and a fantastic way to show your support for Spaced Out Radio. Honestly, just hang out with us. That's all we want. That's really all we want, is for you guys to hang out. And we got kind of an exciting show today, man.
We do.
I'm pretty excited about it. But first and foremost, I need to go to the comments, because I know for a fact I had said something on there and I messed it up a little bit. So I want to go ahead and get back in here and say hi to everybody. And we have a first, second, and third winner, and our first super chat. Thank you, Kitty Caddywhack. Oh my goodness, you're amazing. So it was Fast Hemi in the gold, David Norenberg in the silver, and Kitty Caddywhack for bronze. Thank you so much for your super sticker. Oh man, dude, I love that. I just realized it's the Cheshire Cat, dude. That's awesome. Kitty Caddywhack.
Yeah,
love it.
That's awesome.
Holy mackerel. All right. So let me go to new comments. There we go. And tonight, it's kind of been an eventful week. I mean, in the last couple of days, actually, even today, it was pretty fun. I had a few things that I wanted to share with people. You watch Weaponized with...
I do. You and I have been passing notes under the table back and forth in class.
We do.
Talking about the stuff that's been going on lately. But
yeah. Oh yeah. And well, so because of my job, it's kind of monotonous and boring. It's not the carpet cleaning. That I listen to more podcasts and shows and YouTube than probably anybody I know. That's all I'm doing all day long. So whether I'm mechanicking or working on cars, I'm literally sitting there with either one or both in and just going to town. Today I listened to Ross Coulthart with, and then I also listened to the Weaponized. I'm all over the place. Excuse me. So as you guys know, new UFO videos, latest UFO news. Today, or a couple days ago, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp dropped 3 videos on their weaponized podcast. If you listen to the podcast on Spotify, which is usually what I listen to on, not endorsing them, that's just what I have. I also have Apple Music, which I can do it there, but I already have Spotify set up with everything that I want. And that's what I just cruise through. And it's funny when you're on Spotify and they're like, oh yeah, and we're going to show these videos here. And then you have this guy's electronic voice. If you would like to watch the video, please subscribe to, and then it goes to weaponize or check it out on our, our actual weaponizedpodcast.com page or whatever. And so that's what I did. I was like, okay, I'm obviously listening to it. I can't see it. So we're going to go ahead and bring this up first, if you wouldn't mind, and show everybody what we're talking about straight from their website. So hold on. There's 3 videos. One of them, the first one, I'm going to warn you, I'm still having a hard time trying to figure out exactly what they're showing us in that one. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of them you guys will get. The last one's a little wonky as well. They tried to digitize it and it kind of gets glitchy on them, which again, in their show, they did say that they didn't like that one either. Amanda's Crazy Life channel. Hello. Good to see you in there. In fact, before we do this, let's just say hi to everybody. I haven't done that in so long. What do we got? So we said hi to Kitty Catty Whack, race fan. Hello. Good to see you, my man. All right. Grantavious, welcome to the chat.
You got David Nornberg in the house too.
Yep.
Flat 6. Welcome.
All right. And I see, let's see. Spaced Out Radio. Yes, Lee is in the who's go. I mean house.
We got Missouri Man here too.
Yep. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Mel WD40. Always good to see you here. Ethanol, right on. Let's see what else we got here real quick. Jackie, hello to you. Double high five. Tyler 420, good to see you. Mike Rivers, yes, got to get that woo fix. Hit that. Everybody right now that's in the chats, you are on the woo train. Please do us a favor and like the video as soon as you get in here. If you haven't done already, it really helps us out. Frankie B, oh my goodness. Oh, I love your name. I love your name. I not to go sad on you, but I just lost a pet, and her name was Francesca Bean, and we called her Frankie B. So that was a good one. Skip to Malou, good seeing you here. Patrick Noble, always good having you. Always good. Benno from Oz, 1975. Love it. Welcome. See the Goblin. Yeah. I love the eyes. Tim James in the house. Right on. Tim, thank you so much for the new intro. That was amazing. I love it. River Dog Pitbull. Yeah. What's up, my friend? Let's see. Louisville Charlie. Let's go. Horns up, everybody. All right. And that's where we got them. All right. So let's bring this in real quick. Thank you guys for entertaining our little montage of saying hello to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and blow this up so everybody can get a chance to see it. And here we go. Now, obviously, there's no audio to this at this moment. And whatever type of platform that they are flying, I believe, over clouds, they're looking down. So this looks like white hot infrared. Mm-hmm. And now you start to see the little dot here. And there's actually one in front of it that was over here as well.
There's that.
And there it was. Now, if anybody missed it, it comes through right here. There it is. Here's a different type of flare. You start seeing kind of a triangular shape, and then this craft comes straight through. Now they're trying to center it and follow it with the camera. And that's a good shot of it. And there it is. It kind of gets glitchy. It almost just pops into the screen there, which I think is one of the reasons why they didn't like this one. But if you notice right about here. So there's a spot here, here, and there. Now, for anybody that's just listening to this, what we'd done was we had watched the video and paused it while the orb was on its third video. And there's 3 orbs that kind of pop in around it. You can also see that a little earlier in the video, right here. So you see there's a orb and something down here as well. It looks like there's a few of them that kind of come into screen, and then you'll see them pop in. Here's 2 of them. It's almost like there's a bunch of orbs in there.
I don't know that those might be artifacts because they're following along with the camera itself.
Okay,
there might be something on the lens that's giving that impression that those are actually separate objects.
Good call. Good catch. See, as soon as someone says something like that, then I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay, now I'm going to pause this video right there, and just underneath it, you can see a little bit. Now, this looks like a big black ball. It's obviously, I mean, I would think it's obviously metallic. It kind of looks like it is because it has that. Now, this is FLIR, and it's white hot. And when you see something reflect like that, that means there's maybe a heat source. Is that what that is? Or does FLIR actually pick up?
Well, I would think that if it's white hot, then this object is basically giving us the impression that it's cold. The object itself is cold, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
However, if you know knowing something about anti-gravity, if there is any type of field around this craft, it's going to be, whatever the ambient temperature in the air is, or
correct.
They're pretty close. Yeah.
So then this thing's running cold, and then there's like what seems to be a reflection of something. So it might be metallic reflecting heat. That would be interesting, because I know that I have a FLIR camera at work that I used to. It's kind of funny. I used to look for heating elements out in people's seats. Or looking at their catalytic converters to see if one's hotter than the other or colder than the other, to see if one's malfunctioning. In this particular case, what's really interesting with that, though, is if you take a sheet of glass, it looks black. It you can't see through it for some reason.
Right.
And it doesn't seem to reflect anything. Never tried a mirror. I'm going to try that tomorrow. This here, though, being reflective, kind of, I don't know what kind of tech they got, man.
Yeah, we don't know what they're using to film this with, but yeah, definitely would assume that what we're seeing there is heat of some sort. And it's FLIR, so it's not using an optical sensor. It's using a sensor that picks up on temperature variations. So that's not a reflection from the sun. That's basically what I'm getting at.
Well, that does make sense now that you say that to me. Of course, I have to flip my head where this camera is actually, it's pointing down. So you would think that the sun, man, I don't know. Of course, did they give us the information? Let's go back to the beginning. Video 1 and pause. So we have range, man, air, 97, valid, C invalid. 35 to 45 north, 71 degrees by 17 feet, 74 east. Okay, so we know exactly where it's at. They're not even that high. They're 3,400 feet.
Wow. That doesn't make sense to me, because if we're looking down on the clouds, you're going to be a lot higher than that.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're where I live, but even so, where I live, I'm at 42 to 45, depending what side of town you're on. So if you're at 40, let's say 4,500 feet, helicopter takes off right down the street, or not down the street. There's a a place where Airlink used to take off about a mile away from me, and we'd listen to them every day. Well, they have to adjust their altimeters in order to say, okay, so when, if they show sea level and they go 500 feet off the ground, they're showing 5,000 feet, but they have to adjust it down to where they know that they're 500 feet off the deck. And I think they have a couple of them for that reason. The interesting thing is it says 3,400 feet and 3.6 millimeters. That must be the lens. 230 degrees. So it tells us exactly what direction they're actually looking. Let's see if that changes. I've actually not watched. So they're pretty much staying on course. They're very slightly maneuvering. 222, 221. Okay. And they were going. Yeah, they're pretty much staying around 3,400 feet. And the way they're bouncing around, I mean, helicopters can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem that they're doing too much there. 60, 40 feet, 50 feet. Yeah, they're bouncing all over the place. What in the world? What are they in? It's a rough ride, whatever they're in. If you watch the altimeter there, and then, okay, I can see what you're seeing there. All right. Well, that's the 3 videos that they talked about. I mean, 3,400 feet. I've seen clouds as low as 200 feet off the deck here. And I mean, if you're 3,400 feet above us, you can absolutely look down at clouds. It's just a really cloudy day and they're low to the ground. But I mean, I've watched planes that are, that show 35, 36, 37,000 feet. I have the flight tracker on my phone. And in certain cases, like the cirrus clouds, they're flying under them. The ones that are way up there. But then other clouds, you can't even see them because they're just so low to the ground. But I mean, what's your take on this?
Well, do we know, and I think they mentioned it in the broadcast that they had. Where was this taken? We don't know that, do we?
So if I plug in, let me go back here, and I won't do this on air. I mean, I'm going to do it on air while we're talking, but I'm going to plug in these coordinates real quick and find out exactly where they were at. But come on.
Yeah. So what I was thinking to myself is that maybe they're over, an ocean or close to land where it's a foggy day or something like that, and they're looking down. It's so hard to tell that if they're looking down at the ground or if they're looking up at the sky, too. It's difficult to get oriented with a video like this.
It is. And I'm going to find out right now where they're at. 17.74 feet east. 17.74 feet.
That's the thing with any type of film, or I usually, when I go out to film something, I like to have either like a tree or a mountain or something in the background where I can gauge the size of an object that I'm filming. It helps me out when I go back and get it into the editor and able to look at it and try to figure out like the possible size.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely in the northern hemisphere. My phone is freaking out in the way I wrote it, which is fine. They did say in here. Okay. They actually give a link on their website, and I will pull that up so everybody can see it. It is right here. It is 35 degrees, 2.91 feet north by 71 degrees, 17.86 east. If we click on that, let's see what happens. So that's interesting. We're in a mountain range.
That is interesting.
Lake Forest. No, I don't want to ask Gemini anything. Asmar. Okay, Oswald. Oh.
What are we doing?
SWAT, Kabul, Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
They're over the mountains. So this makes more sense now. And in fact, when I zoom all the way in and get off the red dot, there is, I mean, this is a huge mountain range.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, there's no, you can't. That stinks. I was going to try to see if one of these roads here, you could place them. Well, I'll just place it here and see what happens.
Elevation, quite possibly, of that location, of that mountain right there. I wonder.
Let me do. Oh, I wish I had a way to do this. I was going to say, because if I can go into Asmar, Afghanistan, I mean, doesn't
There
give
should
me.
be like Google Earth should give you the ability to figure out what an elevation is, but it's
Yeah.
going to be high. I mean, holy cow.
Well, not only that, I mean, if I click on it, yeah, it just tells me the location and any pharmacies, ATMs, parking lots, transit, hotels, and restaurants. Obviously, there's none around it.
No.
Interesting to know that that's exactly where it's at.
Yeah. Super interesting, actually.
What is that? Oh, those are trees with shadows. Yeah, look at that. 2 trees out in the middle of nowhere. Desolation. All right. So if you're in the mountains, then, I mean, it looks like they're actually in between the mountains. That's crazy. I wonder if this whole area was covered in clouds and they were just happened to be flying over it. Makes you wonder what kind of aircraft or what platform they were using to even take that video.
Exactly. Well, you said it was moving around quite a bit, so it could have been a helicopter.
Helicopters are bumpy rides depending on the size. I've noticed the bigger they are, because I've ridden a lot of small ones, and the bigger ones that I have been in, I mean, I've only been in a helicopter like 7 or 8 times. So it's the small ones I've only been in twice. And they're bumpy. I mean, for lack of a better word, the bigger ones get bumpy too, but they have so much rotor wash and they're just, you know, and it's, you're bouncing around in there.
Yeah. So that tells you something right there, though, because the camera is pretty stable, right? So it's going to have a pretty good gimbal on it as well.
Yep. And it says event description filmed by a platform operating under the direction of the United States Air Force. What are they doing over there? The object was initially passively tracked and is described in official documentation as navigating through the clouds. The UAP appears to demonstrate an abrupt directional change, which we did see in the video. Atmospheric disruption was noted in case documentation, as was the absence of traditional thermal propulsion signals and signatures during performance. Its origin, intent, and capabilities remain unknown.
So let me just put this out, and I'm going to be devil's advocate on this. Okay, just for a second. You know, this is what I do. So say that object was there and it was full of air, like a balloon. Okay.
Yeah.
And the helicopter was nearby. Do you think that could have caused a change in direction of the object if there was rotor wash? Quite possibly.
If it was close enough, absolutely, 100%. If it's outside of maybe 500 feet away from it, maybe if they went directly over it. I mean, you can have a helicopter. I don't know if anybody's watched helicopters land. I've been within 80 feet of one holding strip tape together because it started throwing rocks and stuff all over these. It was at a car show, unfortunately, and nobody decided to clean the tarmac where the helicopter was landing. And it's obviously another Airlink helicopter, which is the small one that I've been on twice. Not because I was hurt, because I had family that worked for them. Anyway, the closer it got, I mean, within 100 feet, there was nothing. Maybe a gentle breeze. By the time it got 50 feet, it started ripping the strip tape, you know, where they had coned off the area. And I was trying to hold on to it. Then when it got to 10 feet, I had to turn around. And I was almost at 80, 100 feet away max. and I had to turn around. It was just throwing gravel and rocks all over me, everybody's cars. It was great. So I feel really bad for the guys that.
Yeah.
So Patrick Noble asks, what height in the air was it? When we watched the video shows that it was taken at what, 3,600 feet?
3,600, something like that.
Yeah, 3,800 feet. So it's like it wasn't very high in the air.
Yeah, that's what the video says, but I don't know that I believe that. Or like you were saying, they wherever they took off from, then they adjusted their altitude.
Mm-hmm. So they could have been anywhere. Realistically, it happens. I mean, there's helicopter crashes because they forget to do that, or they fly somewhere where they went to much higher elevation and then prepared for that, and then they go land and then they're at a negative altitude. And, you can tune those things, but I'm not a pilot by any means. I mean, besides video games, I guess. They did say it is a thermographic forward-looking infrared. So the thermographic is why it was white hot and black cold. So the thing definitely, it's a very interesting video.
It is.
3,400 feet. Yeah.
Yeah. And where can they find that if they want to watch it themselves?
Absolutely. So it's weaponizedpodcast.com/news-1 large dish shape. In fact, here I will go ahead and copy and paste that and put, I don't know why I just did that. I will copy and paste it and put it in the chats for everybody. Shown. That way you guys can see it. Here you go. All right.
Very nice.
Oh, I put it in 3 times. Oh, I can see why now. I see. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Anyway, that thanks. Thanks, Tyler. To the Amanda's Crazy Life channel. All right. So how often are you on X? I think I asked that to you before, but
I think I've been on it once in a month. I mean, I get updates all the time, and if I see something on there that really interests me, I'll probably check it out. But yeah, I'm not a huge scroller of X mostly because I don't know how to use it correctly.
I have no idea either. I'm just being honest. But I will tell you, there was a gal that had posted something 8 hours ago that caught my attention. What's interesting is what it says. It says 19 cigar-shaped objects in Mexico, all moving together at speed, and there's a ton of hashtags. That is, it's not a gal, it's a guy. Camo Hands. Camo Hands is the one that had posted this, and I'm going to go ahead and show it real quick if I can get it to enlarge. It's kind of a time-lapse video. I don't know how fast those things are going.
Yeah, I have no idea. They may have slowed it down, and actually the counter up in the right-hand corner is showing that they did slow it down quite a bit.
Yep.
So I don't know what type of camera we're looking at. I can only assume that this would be a infrared camera as well.
It kind of looks like it, and those would be hot objects at that point.
Yeah.
You know what can do that? And the pews that have the incendiary rounds.
Yeah.
I think I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, you can say that.
All right. Yeah, those make the same type of. If you slow it down, like everybody who watch news, and you always see the media showing the night pictures of whatever's going on across the globe, and you'll see those things shoot out, and that's what that looks like to me. But
right,
I mean, and if anybody wants to see a UFO cotton tape, I got one for you right here. UFO caught on tape.
I've seen it before, but for some reason we just did that live and it was funny.
Okay. So the other one I did want to show you, if I can pause it before it gets too out of hand. There we go. Same object. This is somebody messing around with obviously color. Excuse me. So this is the Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, the 3 videos, and he goes through. I'll just play it for everybody so they can see it. Now everything is in blue and pinks, and it almost looks like there's a distortion behind it. Let's see if it affects that cloud. See it, and it almost looks like it's affecting that cloud too, which they also talked about.
Which is odd to me because there's plenty of reports of these objects going into the water and not affecting the water.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the craziest one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember back in the day they were talking about fast walkers or fast movers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fast walker.
Yeah, underwater, and that's from the submarine. The guys that are under the ocean, catching these things on their sonar or whatever technology they have, and just watching them cruise. And I mean, faster than anything that we got, including torpedoes, or even what the Russia has a new one that has a cavitation device on the front that allows it to go much faster than normal, and even faster than those. So it's wild stuff. And you're right. They splash down. They don't even make a splash. They can move as fast through space, air, and water as anything else. It's absolutely wild to me that they can even do that. But
yeah, I don't understand it.
Oh no, I don't understand it at all. And then also today, let me get back over to it. I sent it to you. You had just got done watching it before the show, which was awesome. So Ross Colehart, which I'm sure if anybody doesn't know who he is, welcome to the show. You're about to find out. He is a journalist, and he's like one of my all-time heroes. This guy he gets stuff done. He does post a lot on his channel, and I mean, you can go back 5 minutes and what did he just put there, and he'll have 4 more videos out. Like he does a lot. He did one 15 minutes ago, 24 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, an hour ago, and it just keeps going. And from today, I got to scroll down to 6 hours ago, and he had Chris Bledsoe on the president's interest in UAPs, NASA mission, and summoning orbs. We both listened to that.
Yep.
And Chris is one of those guys. If you guys listen to him just on a podcast, which is how I listen to it, I've never actually looked at the guy's face. This is a video of him talking, and his voice does not match how he looks.
No, not at all.
Now he's got that southern drawl, and he talks, real slow.
Yeah. Matter of fact.
Oh, super matter of fact. What height in the air was it? 3,400 feet was what it was taken at. They didn't really give us a specified height of where it was at. So we'll go ahead and there we go. And for anybody that wants to find that, it's at News Nation on YouTube. So that's Ross's show, and you can catch it on there. In 6 hours, it already has 43,000 views.
Oh, wow.
There was so much packed on what Chris said. It's for anybody that doesn't want to listen to it, we'll just give you a little bit of a rundown, and maybe our takeaways from it. Actually, let's just do our takeaways. Lee, what do you got for us?
Well, at first it seemed like it was completely unbelievable to me, but he went on and on and on and said, well, this person's seen it, and this person came to my house, and all these, people, heads of state and that sort of thing as well. And not only that, but it sounds like there's quite a few people or agencies that are interested in what he is doing and seeing as well. But he did say, which I thought was interesting, was the fact that it doesn't matter who comes comes over to his place to view these things, some people will see them and other people will not.
Yep.
Which is bizarre.
And I think he actually put it, there was 3 types of people. The people that see them, the people that don't see them, and the people that if you tell them to look for them, they will see them. So there's they're like on the fence. And I really hope I can see him. He also says that he does it in prayer. He summons these orbs in prayer. And he has almost 100% record where he even had 2 2-star generals on his property. He's had people from the government, the Senate, he and every single one of them walk away in awe about what's there. And of course, he believes they're angels.
Yeah,
which is fine. And but the fact that he can just call them in for the last 2 decades, the guy can do this. He's not scared of them. Ross Coulthart did ask, should we be scared of him? He goes, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Not even in the slightest, which kind of ties in to, there's so much to unpack on that video. If you guys want to watch it, please do it. It is great to listen to him. It affected his kids, his marriage, it all kinds of stuff. I won't go too far into it. Don't want to speak for the man, but great interview. So if you guys want to catch that, Ross Coulthart, News Nation on youtube.com. But what I wanted to tie it to is the exact opposite of what we've been hearing. And this is where I was on the fence when it came to Stephen Greer. I still am. There's things that he's done, like the whole CE5 stuff that he did down at Mount Shasta. I can literally be there in an hour and go do these things by myself. But once he started charging people, a ridiculous amount of money to go do it, I kind of lost respect for him at that point. But his ability and how long he's been doing this, I have to have respect for. He's briefed many presidents. He's briefed head of CIA. He's done all this stuff, and I think he's kind of right. So where Chris Bledsoe comes in and says they're angels, there's nothing to fear. Then you have other people that are using different tactics where they're fear mongering, in my mind, and saying we should be scared of them. There's going to be an alien invasion. And Stephen Greer has talked about that, since 1954, we've had anti-gravitic technology. Yeah. Then he goes on to say the people that have that technology are keeping it very close to the chest. Some of these are ours. Some of these are not ours, but we figured out how to operate them. He told a story today. It's a video I watched today, not that he said it today. I think he said it a couple of weeks ago, where, a couple of sisters, one had a kid, and they saw the object come in, and it literally just dumped a whole bunch of radioactive material on them. And he described that as being a other non-human intelligent technology that we couldn't figure out how to power up. So they literally strapped some nuclear device on there, like a nuclear battery pack, that got unstable on them and ejected all the stuff all over the place, where they actually had to dig up the road a couple of times and replace it because of how radioactive it is there. And it's I do listen to him, but he's also of the same mind that, just like Chris, they're not here to harm us.
No, if they were here to harm us, it'd already be over. There's nothing to talk about. So, and there's other people that say they're, that we're a resource for them in some way, which I think not so much a resource. I think, it's just like anything that we study out in the wilds, right? To see what's going on with them. We look at all the crazy stuff we do to ourselves, all the chemicals we put on ourselves and that sort of thing. I'm sure they're just interested in how stupid we are.
Well, look, even according to Greer, he stated something to that effect, where it's not that we're stupid. We're just we're a type of naive is putting it lightly. The biggest thing is we have a lot of social issues when it comes to each other. We don't see each other as one or a whole. I'm sorry to break it to everybody, but we're all stuck on the same planet. Right? We all have two eyes, we all bleed red, we're all the same thing. And for some reason we have problems with man. Like we are a warring civilization. You can look in the news right now, just today, and read what's going on in different parts of the world and how the US is reacting to it. And I have a buddy of mine that talks to me and through Messenger, and I try to read as much as I can of his, and he called it. He's like, "Oh, this is what's going to happen," and we're always doing this. We're always fighting. And so Stephen Greer's like, "Hey, as soon as we can figure out how to kind of coexist peacefully, then he thinks that that's the time that they'll jump in and say, okay, this is what's going on, and maybe help us out." But here's a kind of an interesting tie between Bledsoe and Greer. So Bledsoe said something that I wanted to point out, and I don't know if you remember the date. Did you hear it?
I'm listening to you. I don't know.
So in 2026,
yes, that's right.
When the proverbial stuff is about to hit the fan. And he actually put a date to it, which I wasn't expecting, because as soon as someone puts a date at something, I'm just like, eyes glass over, I'm out. And even Colehart called him out on it and said, hey, and the reason why he put a date on it was because we're at the cusp of going to two different timelines. Either we're going to go on a bad road and we're going to take ourselves out, it's going to be really bad, or they're going to help us get to the good road. And so, because if we don't get our act straight, then they're going to intervene. And I guess that's the time. And they also talked about how the government, of course, Race Fan just said it, they've been sticking it to us for 70 plus years now, almost 80. And realistically, if they're lying about everything, we all know that they know more than what they're telling us.
Oh, yeah.
All it takes is one presidential pen, and we're going to have the information we need. The problem is, and this comes from Bledsoe and Greer, Bledsoe says it a little bit more eloquently, whereas they actually have a term that has been coined recently about a catastrophic disclosure, where if they disclose it wrong, the world's going to wig out. The more, like, I remember back in the day, Lee, do you remember when people used to say, oh, if we got disclosure, then the religious sectors would just fall apart and the world would go to chaos?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the thought was, is that we'd all been taught by our religions to think of things a certain way, and then of course, if the powers that be decide, well, we're going to tell you the truth, I mean, that could disrupt so many people's lives. It really could.
Well, the more I'm digging into this, and the more consciousness connected it seems to be becoming, then I don't think it has to do with religious beliefs anymore. I think it would be a paradigm shift of the likes where it doesn't matter what you believe in, or if you don't believe in anything. I think it's going to shift you so violently that if they do it wrong and we figure out what we really are, why we're here, everything comes out at once, then that's what's going to unsettle too many people. And they don't want that. And like Amanda Crazy Life Channel says, I have faith in humanity, as well as I do as well. The biggest thing is, Bledsoe said it, he's like, the cat's already out of the bag. Disclosure, we already have it. But right now We all know everything's out there. We don't know why, how it works, what it's there for, what the intentions are, or if it's even real beings, or if it's something crazier, like what Bledsoe thinks is, it's angels and demons. And could you imagine if they went down that track? Of course, you'd have a lot of religious people going, "We knew it."
Yeah.
It's going to be something that's going to rattle the stink out of all of us.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Of course, there's plenty of other aspects to that as well. Not just the religious aspect, but the fact that the government doesn't want to lose power over its people either. So there's that aspect. There's a lot to look at here. You can't just make. I mean, it seems like they've been doing disclosure, but it's such a little drip, 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 drip. We're never going to learn it all in one fell swoop. It's just not going to happen that way. And if it did, there would be some serious problems, socially, economically, spiritually. I mean, just it would run the gamut.
Yeah, I believe it will. There was a gentleman, and I've been trying to find him. I want to say he was on that UFO podcast. He was talking to him, where he talked. There was quite a few things that had happened. I think one of them was in Los Angeles, and I'm not talking about the Battle of Los Angeles, but there was one in Los Angeles where there was an actual alien caught down there on camera or some crazy stuff, and but you don't ever see it in the news. They're gonna, but it's one of those deals where if a UFO lands on the White House lawn and says, "Okay, guys, here's what's up," it's like, oh,
yeah. And part of that interview that struck me and it made me step back too, I think, was the fact that he said, well, they'll save us if we ever get into a serious conflict. And I would like to think that's true, like that they would come in and save our butts from annihilating ourselves, but I can't think that would happen. At some point you wonder if they would just start over again.
Oh boy, I just listened to one recently where it's happened quite a few times. It's like a massive reset, and I know it goes into a little bit of a weirder area, a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole than I like to get to, because I kind of look at all the things like Admiral Byrd. I've talked about him many times before. Operation High Jump, stuff like that. So the reason why I'm so interested in those is because Antarctica, which is what you can see right here, is we're not allowed down there at all. Right. And very shortly after Admiral Byrd died, NASA was created. Okay. And then the Antarctica Treaty was signed by all the major countries in the world. The only thing they signed very quickly and without any fuss. Mm-hmm. What is down there? You know what I mean? I'm interested in that kind of woo. And there was a story that I'm into this weird stuff. There was a story about a guy that went past the ice wall, and I listened to this. I'm not into, I don't believe in flat plane, but it's interesting to listen to. And so I'm sorry, I just got caught up by something. The biggest thing on that one was the reset. So the story was a whole crew of dudes on a ship got out there, talked to another civilization. They said, "Hey, you're welcome to stay." I mean, the captain got married, stayed there for a few years, and then they kind of came back in, showed maps, everything else. It was a crazy story, but in that story was the massive resets, the dinosaurs, Atlantis, the Lemurians, which I think were at the same time, or maybe even the same people. Then you have, the flood, which has been proven scientifically. We know it happened. We know there's a mass extinction on the planet because of it. What triggered it? We don't know.
Yep. I mean, yeah, you look back through history, there seems to be several, large major events that happened that took civilization down to just a few.
Yep. It's one of those things. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope we can figure our stuff out. And whoever's in these craft, whoever that are helping us or seeding us or giving us gifts, they have good intentions. Chris Bledsoe can call these orbs in. I would
Yeah,
love. I would literally do almost anything to meet the man, be there, and go through this with him. Not just to see these things, but just to know that I can. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't.
right.
I want to figure out what three people where I'm at. I'd really hate to be in the ones that can't see it, because that means I probably have too much stuff going on in my head and my life. And because he says you got to set your belief system down basically, and not give any doubt that they're real. You have to
Yeah.
know that these things are real, and then you'll be able to see them. So maybe one day. Also, I know I'm jumping around a little bit. Have you watched Area 52 with Chris Ramsey?
I have not.
Ooh, have you heard of him?
I've not.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm going to introduce you. Oh, I would love to meet him, by the way. So I've been watching Chris Ramsey when he was doing magic tricks. He used to do a lot of magic stuff on YouTube or other. Anyways, so then he got into puzzles, like a puzzle box, how to open it, and of course it's kind of like magic. And he started diving in and getting into the phenomena. He I don't want to give away too much, but if everybody wants to watch, he was just on a show recently where he was the one being interviewed, and how he came up with Area 52, and he's just watched some of his shows. Very articulate individual. Matter of fact, he's the one where I was talking about Matilda and the alien interview. He did like a 3-part series that is awesome that you'd probably like to watch. And so for anybody that wants to go check him out, it's Area 52 on YouTube. You can find him on Spotify, I think, but YouTube's where mostly you can find him. He's into UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, the gamut. It's fun to watch him. And he was talking about out-of-body experiences. So he had accidentally had one, and he imbibed in a little bit of, the funny smokes, the funny cigarettes, and he stopped doing that. And that's something that I learned was, I guess, whatever makes you go to sleep at night builds up when you're doing, extracurricular stuff like that. And when you stop doing that, then it's like a dam, it just breaks. And that's when he had his first one. Well, then he went through a few months of meditating for an hour a day, like 5 a.m. And then he started having more out-of-body experiences. And the first one scared the living daylights out of him. He started talking to people about it and went through more. And then he was able to start doing them again. In fact, he just recently started doing the every at 5 o'clock in the morning going through meditation. And you got to be, I guess, really relaxed to do this. Well, he had heard a voice. He was trying to put his hand through a window in his house, and he heard a voice. What are you doing behind him? And he got scared and went back to his body. So it might be something like that too, where if you can go into out-of-body experiences. So some of these people that do like what the CIA does, where they remote view, some remote viewers do out-of-body experiences. And one gal I had just listened to had done one and went to a base down in Antarctica and was kind of cruising around there and found another person that was doing an out-of-body, and you kind of see the outline shape of a being, and he shoved her out of the base. I was like, whoa. Wow. And it was, I guess, 2 guys in the room, because she actually snuck back in, found them, and they're slumped over in chairs, and because you can follow a string back to their bodies, I guess. And yeah, dude, I wonder if that has something to do with it too, because we already know that remote viewing is definitely something the government does. They have people that do it. They found out a long time ago that we could do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean that stuff's been talked about for a while. The fact if they're actually going out of body though, that hasn't been talked about.
Not as much.
Um, that's a whole nother level of I know what the heck is going on the other side of the room. You know what I mean?
Oh man. Well, Ringo Starr, you know,
Yeah.
Hal Putoff was talking about him. So Ringo Starr, who's passed unfortunately, was one of the best. He has a book out that anybody can read, and he could affect instruments that were completely sealed up from vibration, everything like lead, and he could actually mess with the instruments in there just from that. That shows that us humans, have a lot more capabilities than we seem to realize.
You know, I think we lost a lot of those capabilities over time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And maybe these things right here keep some of those abilities at bay.
Maybe. I mean, realistically, it could.
Mm-hmm.
It's so mind-numbing how much is going on in the world today, and everything that you're hearing. You know, you got Grant Cameron goes into consciousness. Then you have, Chris off Area 52 doing something similar and talking more. Consciousness is key. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you have a lot of physicists and other people saying that consciousness might not be tied to our brains. Those might just be the radio antenna. And then
Yeah.
you have, oh, what's his name? I'm Forbidden Knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about how, the Thoth, reading the Emerald Tablets and Thoth and all that, where our genes were connected somehow. I forgot what gene it was. You guys can listen to him, Billy Carson. And it talks about consciousness and how we've been, manipulated a little bit, where we can't live past 120 years, how, our pineal gland's been shut down, and it just goes on and on and on. And it's getting the waters are just so muddy.
That
But
they are. I got a consciousness show coming up on Friday.
sweet. Which reminds me, everybody, show up on Friday for Lee's show, Element 115, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard, right?
You got it.
And then Dave's going to be on here in just a couple of minutes. So catch his show on Spaced Out Radio. Stick with us. We got great things coming for you tonight with Dave. And we'll talk about the Oilers later.
It's all that. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. It was funny. It was funny. But we're going to be tearing off out of here. Thank you, everybody, for showing up this evening and having a conversation with us. If you want to see more, get at us on social media. You could probably find both of us on Facebook or Instagram. Yep. Text Dave if you want to hear something or find something. Get a hold of us directly if you can. And I'm more than open to listen to what everybody's got. So without further ado, I'm Grantavious Maxx.
And I'm Lee Strauss.
We thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been fun, and we will catch you next week.
Next week.